Put that there. Uh-huh. Yeah. I was surrounded by cardboard because we're trying to get rid of an echo. And so much to talk about today. We have let's Steam updates rules to comply with their payment processor censorship. All right, so if you're not familiar with this, certain industries they work with credit card companies, and the credit card companies sometimes come along and they go, "Yeah, we can't have you selling this, or this, so you're gonna have to remove certain things here." So Steam, this is from today. Steam updates rules to comply with payment censorship. So Steam, the largest gaming platform, has recently ruled their rules for developers to prohibit content that may run afoul of the nebulous standards of payment processors. According to Automaton, the new rule remains vague and directly mention how this restriction is mandated by payment processors such as card networks and banks, saying that developers should not submit content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks or internet network providers, in particular, certain kinds of adult only content. In recent months, payment processors such as Visa and MasterCard have been throwing their weight around to try and effectively ban content they find disagreeable. Sites in Japan and the West have been hit with these restrictions, including Patreon, Fansly, and Japanese retailers such as the L site. After Fansly effectively banned certain VT tubers and content creators, that's VTubers, not, not VT tubers, many of them moved to RPlay. Japan has been particularly targeted by these efforts. Earlier this year, payment processors allegedly withheld funds from developers who sold their game on Steam based solely on their game's objectionable content. So, as a result of being targeted, Japanese retailers and lawmakers are becoming the largest obstacle to payment processors and censorship, with free speech activist Councilman Yamato Tano and former Prime Minister calling out payment processors as the problem. Furthermore, multiple adult games are removed from Steam in a short period, likely coinciding with the new rules update. It's unclear what chilling effects these will have on Steam's burgeoning adult games market. So, on Steam, of course, we're not going to see what they have. I like to pull up the top sellers on Steam so we can see what's moving. And we'll see what your thoughts are on that. And okay, that's not showing up here. Hold on. Hang with me. I think one of those we're going to remove is we're going to show this screen here. Yep, stop that one. And what are your thoughts? Entire screen. Yes, that's what we want. All right. There we go. Okay. Top sellers, and we wanted to talk a little bit about their VR titles. There's been a couple of great talk about how Steam saved VR, and I think that's something that's mm, a lot of very true, right? I mean, Steam and VR have been. Would virtual reality exist today if it wasn't for Steam? And that's something that we'll look into because I think I have some really good videos I found from other creators that were on that earlier today, and it was one on Steam saving VR. That was one. We'll pull that one up too. But where was the other one? There's another one on virtual reality. How is virtual reality doing? And my thoughts are that Steam, I think, has done a lot to help VR. I think VR virtual reality has been doing not so. Steam just gave it the ability. I think if you go into PlayStation, you have the PSVR2 headset. That's one thing. It's like going deep sea scuba diving every time you put it on. I think the Quest headset is so much easier to use than that, but that's neither here or there. I'm gonna find in the store, in the Steam store. We'll find this one. And yeah, lots of VR titles. Okay. And another thing was, let's take a look at something I wanted to talk about too was no, I have not seen the new Superman movie yet. Not saying I don't want to, but I like James Gunn. I liked all the Guardians movies. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was really well done. I think Guardians 1 was really good. Guardians 2, I didn't really like Guardians 2. It seemed incredibly predictable. Uh, and I don't know, kind of like a cash grab, but Guardians 3, I really liked. I thought that was a great movie. And Superman, so I was kind of excited to see what James Gunn was going to do with the DC. And from what I've heard, it's a good movie, but I mean, I haven't seen it. I've heard a bunch of different things. Some people are saying it's yeah, it's okay. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's got to be better than the Fantastic Four that's coming out in July. That doesn't seem to have any excitement around it. But box office, I think we're showing what as of today, 155 million domestic, 95 million international, and that's 250 million worldwide. Looks like it's. We'll see. I think it kind of depends. If it drops off and does, if it's going to drop off maybe during the week, if it picks up again over the weekend, that could be good. But I don't know. I haven't heard a ton of excitement around this. And there's another little bit of James Gunn news today, and of course that was the latest that Gunn has out on Twitter, which is for Supergirl, which he says, let's see, it just says up in the corner, look out 2026. I guess again, everyone is telling me that there's kind of a punk rock thing to Superman as far as the music goes and everything else. And then I guess this is more of I don't know if it's following those lines. You have the spray painted word out on there, rebel thing, but we'll see. That one's we'll see what happens there. And that could be, I don't know, it could be good. But we'll see. Superman, that one has been there's been a lot of hype around that. I think the next one that everyone's wondering about is going to be, of course, Fantastic Four, which doesn't seem to have a lot of excitement around it. I don't know anyone. Do you know anyone that's going to see Fantastic Four so far? Well, 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 let's talk about our other favorite topic, which is the Xbox Game Pass, which is July 2025's lineup. And our buddies over at IGN have said Microsoft's announced Wave 2 of the Xbox Game Pass July 2025 lineup, which includes the launch of Grounded 2 via an Xbox game preview. Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, and more. Is revealed in a post on Xbox Wire returning today, July 15th, is High on Life. That's on cloud, console, and PC. And across Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard. Next up is the arrival of, very excited for this one, RoboCop Rogue City on cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X. That's on July 17th for Game Pass Ultimate, and then the different things. So to me, if you're going to have, I have Game Pass here, and I got the Ultimate. You can get it they have all the different pricing plans. I don't get paid by Xbox, by the way. I know we talked a lot about this last time. I think streaming games is gaming and streaming is probably. Oh, look at that! Yeah, right there. Recently added. Let's take a look. Yeah. Okay, so this is RoboCop Rogue City, and this one I've already been playing on the, PlayStation 5. If you're familiar with the movie from the '80s, you don't have to have seen the movie, but if you're familiar with the movie from the '80s, this actually they brought the actor Peter Weller back to do the voiceover for this movie, the game. The game is very true to the movie, and it's kind of over the top sci-fi gore and all of that, and, it's a lot of fun. So let's see. Now I have some footage. Okay, so I wanted to try the Xbox Game Pass on the MetaQuest 3S. I don't have the 3, I have the 3S. I should have spent the extra 50 bucks. I know. But, actually, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'll try to show some of that next time. But it's the same thing. So when I go into my Game Pass on the Quest 3S, I get the same screen that I'm looking at, almost identical to the screen I'm looking at now. And if let's say I was playing mhm, Doom: The Dark Ages, as soon as I go in, there is a controller that I pair up with. This Xbox controller paired up perfectly with the MetaQuest 3S headset, and it asks you to do that. And I'll put some footage together on this next time, but the same screen that I'm looking at in Game Pass here shows up on the Quest 3S. So when you log into your Xbox Game Pass account, it'll show whatever your most recent plays are. So if I go, okay, well, I'm going to play Doom: The Dark Ages. I don't need to download everything onto the Quest headset locally. I am playing Doom: The Dark Ages exactly where I left off on PC. And I imagine if I had an Xbox console, the same thing. It's kind of like it's to me it's the point where like if you're watching something on Netflix, like the Outer was it the Outer Banks? Um and you go to watch, you're watching it at someone's house. You go home to watch it back home, whatever, or on your phone or on your PC. It picks up right where it left off. So I go in, Doom: The Dark Ages, right where I left off. If I want to continue to be stuck on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle at 4% completion, I can put this MetaQuest 3S headset on and log into the Xbox Game Pass app on the Quest 3S. Boom. I'm right in the same place I was last time or anything else. And then so I don't know. I found I didn't have any hiccups. Now, obviously the Quest 3S is not going to look as great. It's something that's 4K gameplay on a gaming PC or on your big screen that you've got your PC hooked up to or Xbox. However, hold on. Mm. I found that I was surprised at how fluid and seamless it was. I really thought um, when I first tried the Quest 3S with Game Pass, I seemed to have a lot of issues. I think that was last November. And since then, I think maybe there's been some updates. Maybe I was doing it wrong, but it's so much. I was surprised how much better it is. What you're looking at though is not. Mm, you're not looking at. It's not obviously it's not VR, and I was kind of wondering. So here's my question, I guess: will Xbox Game Pass, if you can play it on the Quest 3S, are they at some point going to go? You know what? Let's throw some VR games on there. I searched everywhere. I couldn't find them. Look for any kind of VR titles. Probably just type VR. Watch like a whole bunch show up. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Hmm. No, I don't think that's not. That's just the name of the church. We'll look into that, but I don't think at the moment they have any VR games on X. So, when Microsoft wouldn't, I don't know if everyone remembers, it was when Microsoft was developing their next gen console after the Xbox One. And they were which eventually became the Xbox Series X. Um, people were having a fit that Microsoft was not developing VR equipment or headsets or anything. And Microsoft's like, no, we're not doing any of that. Because the buzz was that Sony was developing the PSVR 2 to go with the PlayStation 5. So Microsoft got a lot of criticism about this. And to me, if they use MetaQuest, they basically have MetaQuest do all the heavy lifting. They can play their games. So when you play a game on Xbox Game Pass on the Quest 3 headset, you're just looking at like a large screen. Now you can make it full screen. Like this is fun. It makes it look like you're in a movie theater size screen. So you're playing on what looks to be an enormous screen. This would be great if you have a roommate who's hogging the TV and you're like, you worked all day. You come home, your roommate's hogging the TV. Maybe they're watching Netflix's whatever. And then so you can just pop this headset on and you're in a movie theater and you're playing I believe just about anything off of the Game Pass. And since I have the Game Pass account on my PC, I'm just logging into my account on one time on the Quest 3S headset. And from there, I'm like, boom. So let's see if we can find. All right, so Grounded 2. Yeah. That's supposed to be a big one. Oh, sorry, there's an advert for Switch 2. So Microsoft has announced, that's okay. So let's see, as revealed in a post on Xbox Wire returning today, July 15th. We looked at that. Okay, what else? Okay, so here we go. So Xbox Game Pass Wave 2, July 2025 lineup. High on Life. That's coming to cloud, console, and PC. RoboCop Rogue City, that's not the DLC that they're coming out with on RoboCop 2 either. I believe that's Rogue City. So, My Friendly Neighborhood, Back to Dawn, Abiotic Factor, Wheel World, Wu Chang Falling Feathers, Grounded 2, Farming Simulator 25. As always, when Microsoft giveth, it also taketh away. The following games are set to leave Game Pass on July 31st. Gigantic. I'm not going to say it. I can't pronounce it. And Turnip Boy Robs the Bank. Yeah, good fun. Yeah, I wonder if we could find pull up a little trailer on it. I've heard different things about this one. High on Life. Yes. Again, it's another Switch 2 advertisement. So it's nice show prep for today. By the way, no show prep for today. This was put together at the last minute. I am so sorry. I will make it up to you next time. It was rushed production. Nothing. No show prep to talk about. All right, looks fun. All right, this is footage from High on Life. Or it says High on Life, High on Knife DLC. 9 minutes of exclusive gameplay, Comic Con 2023. And this is on IGN's website. All right. It does look like a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, what else we got? Yeah, let's take a look at now. RoboCop Rogue City. Oh, yeah. Oh, with the Switch 2 ads. But they're like 10 seconds, too. Do you think the Switch 2 needs to advertise at this point? What are your thoughts? I feel like if you go to like Best Buy, can you find a Switch 2? I don't know. No. I think that's a favorite store, right? Best Buy has a ton of debt, by the way, so I don't know how they're doing these days. But I've had a lot of I'd love to get a Switch 2, however, not found any yet. Mhm. Yeah, so you gotta, like, "Oh, hey, I'd like to buy the Switch 2," right? It looks like fun. It says sold out. Yeah, that's without the game, so it's Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. Mhm. Yeah, so you get the Mario Kart World, you spend another $50, you get the Mario Kart World bundle for $4.99. Yeah. Otherwise, I think you gotta go on, like, a scalping website where they've, uh yeah. Alright. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so RoboCop Rogue City. This is off of IGN's website, and this looks like it might be a little bit of let's see if we can get some gameplay in here. Yeah, here it goes. Alright, now this is alright, so for whatever reason, it's showing the unfinished business gameplay. So this is the DLC that's coming out soon. You can see it's got the like the green DOS-based graphics that you would have like in the late 80s. In the game, all the computers have the CRT monitors sitting on top of like a 386 or a 486 computer, IBM computer. It's very similar to the movie with the targeting system, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, okay. Thank you, StreamYards. This is the DLC footage, though. This looks pretty good. That for sure will have to be played. Pull up Steam. Let me see where Steam is. No. All right, so Steam VR. I was trying to pull up the VR list, but all right, yeah, I don't want my library. Where are we at? So on Steam, let's go to the store. Mm-hmm. Yeah, categories. Here we go. All right. Virtual reality titles on Steam. So No Man's Sky is still a favorite for me. That's something you can get lost in for a while. I tried the kayak Mirage one. It's I mean it's fun. It's kind of it's very serene. But I don't know if not everybody's into VR. I think the thing that's gonna help VR is the easier it can be for a pick up and play, the better off it's gonna be. That's again, I think that comes back to like that the PSVR 2's headset, which is a great headset, but it's so you don't have that pass through. Like you put the Quest headset on and you have pass through instantly. You can see what's going on in the room around you and things like that. But you can't do that with and so also one of the things I wanted to mention on the Quest PSVR 2 or on the MetaQuest. So not only do you have the Game Pass, now you're going to play Game Pass on the Quest headset. There are no VR titles that I know of at this point, but Quest does have its own library. And so most of what you see here, like the VR Chat, Gorilla Tag, Beat Saber, a lot of these games are available on Quest, but you're through the Quest store. They do have one of the things I do like about Quest also, it took Sony a while to get in on this, but Quest has that app that allows you to connect to PlayStation, the Steam. So what I found that really helps is there's a USB-C cable that you can connect to the side, where you normally would charge a Quest 3 headset. And you take this USB-C cable and you connect it. You can get like 10 or 15 feet of it on Amazon for pretty cheap. And then you connect that into your PC and there's a much better connectivity than over, Wi-Fi. And that's a lot of uh, one of the fun things about that is that I can go, okay, well, it's great for recording video if I want to record video for this. It's also great for just the connectivity on. If I want to link my Quest headset to Steam VR, there's an app for that. But not only I can either do it over Wi-Fi, which where there's not as much the connectivity is not as fast as it is over a wired connection. So that's kind of fun. So one of the things I think that's winning me over is starting out on consoles, moving over to PCs, and then coming back to consoles, and then kind of coming back to PCs in the last couple of years. The PC thing, I mean, you get yourself a nice gaming PC, and you can do there's so many games available. And I played PC for the longest time. But I don't know, my thing with Sony is I'll probably still get a PlayStation 6. I'll still get a Switch too. I feel like I'm always gonna have the big 3 where it's, Xbox on PC. But I don't really need to buy an Xbox console anymore with PC. Xbox has done such a great job of moving so much of their stuff on a PC that I don't really need to do that anymore. I don't need to buy an Xbox. I probably Sony has moved more stuff to Steam. They have a whole Sony page, I believe now. But let's see if I can find it. Uncharted, yeah, this would be Sony Studios, right? PlayStation Publishing. Yeah, here you go. So we talked about this last time, the PlayStation Studio games that are now available on Steam, and this is something like not too long ago you would think would never happen from Sony. So Sony comes out with a PlayStation 6. Am I going to buy it? Yeah. Am I going to buy the next gen VR headset for Sony? I'm not even sure they're doing one. I think Sony took such a bath on the PSVR 2. I don't know for sure because I can't find the sales numbers for it. I think the only thing we had was like the more recent one we had was like the Quest 3's Amazon sales were like blowing the doors off of whatever Sony was doing with the PlayStation headset. So I think that my gut is telling me, and I don't know. I'm still trying to find the exact numbers from Sony versus MetaQuest, but I just don't feel like they sold that many PSVR 2s. For the older members in the audience, I feel like the PSVR 2 is the Nintendo Power Glove, possibly of peripherals, of attachments. It's just, and what's sad about that is it was such a great. I haven't used it in a while. It's sitting there with dust. I'm so much more likely to pick up just the Quest 3 headset, put it on, and boom, I'm in. Versus firing up the PlayStation, hooking up it could already be connected, putting the headset on, the controllers to me are still kind of glitchy. And then there's whether you're using the PlayStation 5 controller and you're using the handheld controllers. And so, like, you're setting the PlayStation 5 controller down to like navigate, and then you turn on the other controllers, but sometimes you have to turn them off and on again to get them to like pair up. I think then that's what I was like using for the longest time. And so when I switch over to Quest and it's just like, oh, just put this headset on. There's no wires, there's no connections, all wireless. And then you just pick up everything. I can instantly see the room that I'm in the moment I turn the Quest headset on. It's just won me over. And I think if Sony's gonna really compete, and I don't know that they are, maybe they're just gonna walk away from VR and say, yeah, we're done. If they're gonna compete, I think you have to make a wireless headset that competes with Quest's features. It's the PSVR 2 headset looks amazing, and it's really immersive. It looks. If I'm playing the Quest 3S, there's a lot more of a screen door effect. And it's a 3S, not the 3. But the Sony PSVR 2 is such a great headset. And I think that was the tragedy of like that whole layout was why are we not making this more um, you know, user friendly to pick up and play? Because if I'm coming home after working all day, I'm not gonna mess around with trying to put that headset on. I'm mostly pick up and play gamer to begin with. I don't spend that much time on, really like I tried Baldur's Gate 3 and which is a great game, but especially after working all day, I'm way more likely to just play Doom. It's it's just so much easier than trying to look everything up. And then there was so I think that Sony's PlayStation 3, 6 rather, Play 3 VR, I guess it would be the third VR headset for PlayStation 6 if they do it. That would be interesting. I don't know if we can even find that out. Like, do you think that Sony is PSVR 3 question mark? Let's see what it says. Some stuff on Reddit about it. Yeah, no, I don't really see anything more. The biggest one I've been trying to find are like, I go Sony. How many VR headsets? Yeah, there we go. How many PSVR 2 has been sold? Let's see. And I don't even think nothing even shows up in AI on that. I can try asking Grok. How many? Hey, Grok. How many PSVR 2 headsets have been sold? I don't even think it's going to know. Let's see. Might have to give us an estimate. All right. From Grok, the most recent data on PlayStation PSVR 2 headset sales indicates that Sony sold approximately 2 million units. The figure comes from an estimate by a VR studio reported in October of 2024, aligning with Bloomberg's report from March of 2024, stating that Sony produced well over 2 million units, though shipments to retailers were estimated at 1.69 million by the end of 2023. Official Sony figures from May of 2023 confirmed 600,000 units sold in the first 6 weeks after launch. After launch, lunch is important too. Most recent sales data is sparse, but a significant data surge was reported in July 2024 with a huge increase, 2,350% increase in daily sales during a $350 discount, suggesting strong demand. So, at a lower price point. So basically, I think there was a period of time when Sony lowered the PSVR 2 headset to match Quest, and they were flying off the shelves. But that was about it. All right, what else? So Rogue City. I wanted to go back to what else was coming out here. Oops, too far. I don't think I can get IGN's. Can't get their audio on that. I don't know why. It's another Switch 2 advertisement though with Paul Rudd. He's in that commercial, and then I thought he had. No, that wasn't him. All right. Grounded 2. Did we get any? We show a little trailer from that if we don't have to sit through. It's another Switch 2 ad. If I paid for IGN, I probably wouldn't have to sit through all these ads. But Grounded 2 is going to be the follow-up to Grounded, about the tiny shrunken people living in, just living and trying to survive. I guess Grounded did pretty well though as a game, and that was something that you can see here. Looks pretty fun. And what we're looking at, it's a little studio interview. Okay, yeah, that should be good times. All right, let's go on to what else do we have? Oh yeah, that's us. Okay. So there was. So let me know your thoughts on this. Going back to this, Steam, part of doing business with credit card companies is they don't want to wade into controversy with certain types of games that may be inappropriate for kiddos. So they're gonna, Steam, I think, is gonna take a lot of that down to comply with the credit card companies. And Switch 2 availability. Are you gonna buy a Switch 2? Are you upset the games are a little higher than what they were? And then, we're not. I do. You know what? I know we'd pulled it up last time, but I wanted to see that whole PSVR 2 headset versus Wait, let's see if actually is Sony developing a VR headset for PlayStation 6. Let's see what happens. All right, there's no official confirmation that Sony is developing a VR headset specifically for the PlayStation 6, as the PS6 itself hasn't been officially announced. However, Sony has a history of investing in VR, with a PlayStation VR in 2016 and the PSVR 2 in 2023. Some context suggests Sony's exploring a next gen VR technology. In 2020, a job listing from Sony Corp, not Sony Interactive, indicated work on a next gen VR head mounted display with 5-year timeline potentially pointing to 2025 or beyond. This could align with the PlayStation 6 release, though the listing didn't explicitly tie it to PlayStation. In 2021, Sony showcased an 8K VR headset prototype with advanced features like an OLED microdisplay and low latency, but it was described as having broader applications such as engineering and medical rather than being a PSVR successor. So, given Sony's commitment to VR and the PSVR 2's release for the PS5, it's reasonable to speculate they might develop something for that. Yeah, I think they could. Um, Sony, I think it very. I think we'll look into it. We'll see if I can find more on it. I think that Sony would develop possibly. I still think Sony took a big bath on the PSVR 2 thing. I don't think that went well for them at all, despite it being a good headset. So, we'll see what happens. I know that there's a lot riding on that. I wonder if Game Pass will end up adding virtual reality games now that they seem to be not partnering, but they're working with the Quest 3, and I think that's something that could happen. Not sure. So far, I feel like Steam is the place to go for VR games. Sony still has all its games up there, not all of it, but games that it's made available. We talked about that last time. So there's quite a few. The Sony library available on Steam now. I think they're going to keep going in that direction. I think you have to if you're PlayStation. And here's the thing, like if you look at how many more consoles PlayStation sells, it's like PS5 sales versus Xbox sales. I'm pretty sure that it's like 3-1 Sony's outselling the consoles to, yeah, kind of cut off there. Just as of March, the PS5 has significantly, and there we go. There's the rest of it. March in 2025, PS5 outsold the Xbox Series X/S worldwide. PS5 sold 74 million units to Xbox's 32 million units. Yeah. So that's just over twice as many. And that's the thing. The difference is though, there's like a ton of PC gamers too. And I think if you're a PC gamer and you have the choice, like maybe you've always been on Steam, but now as a PC gamer, you're like, oh, you know what? I know I can do this. I can go on to, yeah, I'm PC gamer and I'm going to go on to Xbox Game Pass. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can find this one video from earlier. I think I saved it. It was pretty good. It was on a little bit on VR. I'll watch later. Where is it? No. No, it's all right. I'll come back to it later. This is a pretty good one though. If you have a chance to, this is from Nick Flip, as you can see down here below, and it was basically he does a whole thing on if Steam, how Steam kind of saved VR, and it's great. He has great content. Give him a sub. It's a good video too. But he goes basically on, oops, let me move my camera so you can see it. Nope, another one. Yeah, there you go. How Steam saved VR gaming forever. And he does this whole bit on where Steam can't kind of came in and you know, really basically gives I think the VR library I had through Sony was with the PSVR 1, and then I moved on to, what was it? When I first went into the Steam VR, and he kind of goes into this in his video that you can see. Excuse me. I just thought it was like there's so many more games available. And so I think to a point, that's why Sony came out with its PSVR 2 adapter, so you could play your PSVR 2 on your PC, which Sony came out with, weeks after, or no, months after the release. They But PSVR 2, oh, that was so much better when you could put it on Steam too. Mm. So he does a great video here. Nick Flip down here, he does this video on Steam saving. Yeah, it's really good. He goes into the whole history too. The Valve Index, he talks about that, and then he'll eventually get to. He talks about also where Steam kind of, in the beginning, he talks about how really the history, the revival of VR. A lot of people don't know VR actually goes back to like the 80s. Of course, it was like a giant headset back then, and but VR applications before Oculus got involved in the early O's was to this day, pharmaceutical companies will use them, and they actually will take a molecule, which is a combination of more than one atom, and they will use molecules, and they'll actually see what, and they can hold it up using VR to see which section of the brain that it fits into. Today, that's probably being changed by AI. AI can probably more rapidly figure out which type of molecule for medicine can fit into which different section of the brain for different types of medications, or not necessarily just the brain, but any cellular applications and all that. That's probably switching over to VR, but or AI. But that was at one time, that was something that was the thing. Yeah, he likes. It's a good video if you get a chance to watch it. It's Yeah, I really liked it, and he does a whole. It's really good, and of course, he goes also into how where is it? The big one that saved uh, the VR was, or really changed it, was Half-Life Alyx. If you have a VR headset and you have a chance to play Half-Life Alyx, yeah, I think it's one of the best VR games I ever played, and he talks about it in his video too. But really good video. We'll look more into kind of want to get more into where the Quest 3S is on, let's see. So it'd be the Meta Quest 4 release date, which we haven't heard too much about yet. But there's no official release date for the Meta Quest 4, as Meta Quest hasn't confirmed it's in development. However, based on industry patterns, blah, 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 it's estimated it would launch in 2026, likely around October to December. That'll be, the Christmas time, aligning with Meta's 3-year hardware cycle. Some reports possibly 2027. Meta would possibly do a lightweight headset codenamed Puffin for 2026 instead. But yeah, Meta's kind of pulled back a little bit. Meta was sinking like a ton of money into VR. And of course, Meta was, let me see if I can pull up the Meta store while we're on here. The Meta was, they were putting a ton of money into VR. And they, I think they've kind of pulled back on that a little bit. And that was something where they were paying developers to make games too. Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay. Yeah, Metastore. Hang on. Yeah, and we're gonna do that. And we'll log in. Let me just get logged in here. I'll pull it back up. Okay, I think we're in. There we go. Okay, pull this back up. Here we go. Yeah, here we are. All right, and this is on the MetaQuest store. So again, when you're in the MetaQuest with your MetaQuest headset, which I recommend, I have a lot of fun with the MetaQuest headset, but you can pay. They also have like a subscription service for, like to kind of same thing with Game Pass, similar. I think they did. I'll double check that. It's been so long, and I know I let mine expire. So like, here's some popular ones on MetaQuest, right? You could almost compare this with Steam's, and it would be, Gorilla Tag, Worlds, Animal Company. I haven't even tried that one. VR Chat, Roblox, Beat Saber. Beat Saber is still $30, which is pretty expensive. And also, Scary Baboon, Rec Room, and yeah, Blade and Sorcery. A little bit different than what you see on the Quest, I suppose. There's also a VR pirate game coming out here, which I've totally forgotten the name of at the moment. Yeah, so this is your Quest online. And so when you're in the headset, there's an app, of course, that they have. And then you can go, oh, okay. I'm going to play this, and that. Gorilla Tag, of course. Yeah. I've not tried Gorilla Tag now. It looks a lot of fun though, for like a little VR game. Yeah, what else they got here? Worlds? I'm not even sure what that is. Let me see. Mm-hmm. All right, looks kind of fun. All right, what else? It's Worlds. Animal Company. No, I'm not. Yeah. All right, so I guess that would a little bit different than what Steam has for VR then, right? We go to store. And then we go to categories. Yeah. All right. So it's a little bit different than what Steam is going to offer. All right. So, like, No Man's Sky, I don't know if you could play that on the Quest headset. But if I want to play No Man's Sky in VR, this is where, again, that link cable is what I use for the Quest 3S headset. You can use an Air Link, but I like using the physical link cable for the better connectivity. And I have fewer issues with the games when I do that. It's like kind of annoying. It's you have to like tape it out to the side of this huge cable, at USB-C cable. But that's No Man's Sky. That's a great game. You can just get lost in that game for forever. Hours can go by. The VR times would be Metro the Awakening, Ghost Town. I have played Squadrons. Yeah. Squadrons was I don't know. It wasn't bad. I mean, I didn't mind it, but it's some of the flying. I think there was one of the flying games where it was like a Star Wars VR game, and we were doing like an attack on, I don't know, the Death Star or a Star Trooper. Star Destroyer. It was just taking forever. And it was like, yeah, loop around. That should be good fun though. No Man's Sky. Haven't tried Ghost Town yet though. Let's see if we can get that audio working. Hold on, I'm trying to get that. Audio is not playing on that. Let me get that sound going. Mm-hmm. Okay. No, oh, there it is. Oh, sorry, looking at the wrong screen. Uh-huh. Okay, sorry, I could not find that for a second. It's like, where is that coming? All right, so this is on, yeah, Nick Flip. He talks about the success of Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, so he does. This is a great video. I would check it out. Um, he does a whole bit on how Steam really helped the VR, and it's really good. I like it. Where's the okay? So hold on, we're back to there. We go. Play. Sometime. There we go. Ghost Town. See what this looks like. Oh, this is another VR game on Steam. Scary Yellow Pages. A phone book. When did phone books go away? Like in the 90s? An answering machine. Oh, and a rotary dial phone. This is old. Oh. Uh-huh. All right. So already it's pretty terrifying, I think. I'm the the haunted house games are pretty scary, especially in VR, because you never know what's around the corner. Right? It looks like there's kind of a mist there or something. This looks fun. I'll try this one. That's scary. So he's looking at like a mist as he's walking through a haunted house. Looks pretty scary. Yeah. It's always has the jump scares in it where something jumps out at you. That looks fun. Mm-hmm. Probably isn't that special. Let's see. Phasmophobia. Yeah. That's considered one of the scariest games of all time. That's yeah, super scary. No? Yeah. All right. Here we go. Oh yeah. Again, walking through the haunted house. Very scary. I refuse to play this game. I've seen so many people play it on YouTube that they have heart monitors on. Their pulse rate goes up. This game's nothing but jump scares. I don't think I could do this one. You have to be careful. Like as an older gamer, you play games like this, you could just fall over dead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks pretty scary. Ouija board. Uh huh. Yeah. 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 Skyrim in VR. Fus Ro Da. I played it. It's pretty fun. Mhm. It looks pretty good too because the graphics are so old from the console from a million years ago. Yeah, that one's pretty. I don't know if I'm gonna get like a copyright strike for the Fusroda music, so we'll move on to the next one. Rec Room, I see this one all the time. Mm, okay, it looks fun. Yeah, lots of mini games. All right, what else have you got? Oh man, was this the one? Bootstrap Island. All right, let's take a look. We got a live broadcast going on right now. That are we allowed to show a live broadcast of someone else's live broadcast on a live broadcast? I don't know. We better do the trailer instead. Do that one. There you go. Bootstrap Island updated for Steam VR. That looks pretty scary. Yeah. It's looking. It's like maybe you're on a Caribbean island somewhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what he's. What are you doing here? You're stuck on the island. I have no idea what the plot is. Okay. Well, just gonna try to move this ahead, maybe. No. All right. Okay. I mean, if you're just stuck on an island, I don't know how exciting that is, but it says now broadcasting. Watch the developer play. Oh, this is live. Oh, looks like maybe a hurricane's coming to town. Gameplay trailers, roadmap, and a message from creative director. It looks like some severe weather rolling in. There's a volcano in the background. All right, what else? Labyrinth. What's Labyrinth? A co-op horror game like no other. Play with 1 to 8 players. This is Labyrinth. Online and solve puzzles, collect items, run from the horrors that lie within. Follow the footsteps of Joan in the story mode, or tackle procedurally generated maps. Ooh, let's scale with your level. All right, let's take a peek at this one. Let's see. Oh yeah, so someone's running through looks like a maze, a labyrinth. You're never alone, it says. Holding a compass. All right, so right off the bat, Labyrinth looks pretty good. A lot of, so many horror VR games, aren't there? Just turn that down a little bit. So, looks like discover the abandoned mazes of Happisburg. It's VR compatible. It's complete puzzle. Oh, so complete puzzles. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of like, yeah, where you have to get out of the. I want to say safe house. It's not called a safe house. All right, what else you got? Metro: The Awakening, City, Arizona Sunshine 2. So there's some really great sales right now. Some people are freaking out that VR isn't doing well because of the sale, like of all these sales, but it's summertime sales. So No Man's Sky is $24. They seem to often sell it at that. Flight Simulator. Okay, no. Cards and okay. Metro Awakening seems to have a lot of positive reply about it. Arizona Sunshine 2. Yeah, that's about it. What else? VR Chat, Beat Saber. Beat Saber never goes on sale. It seems. And maybe they do. If I'm wrong, it goes on sale. But Skyrim VR is also at $60. So pretty expensive. So we'll take a look at some of these later. I think we have some other new and exciting stuff coming out down the road. But, yeah, we'll take a look at some of that later. So we'll wrap it up for now. Oops, hang on. What is this one? Hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. That's kind of fun. All right, and let's look at Metro Awakening. That'll be the last one we look at for you. Oh man, Vertigo Games. All right, looks like he's walking through an underground area. Maybe it's like post-apocalyptic looking thing. Oh, wow. That's pretty scary stuff. Oh yeah. All right, looks pretty good. I'll keep playing it. All right. That looks like fun. All right. Well, I think that's all the time we're going to have for today. We're going to go more into more stuff later on. Where are we at here? Yeah. So we'll wrap it up there for now. We're going to talk more about some of the industry stuff that's coming out. What's the next generation VR headset that's being worked on? What's its price? Where are we at with streaming services? What's going on with Sony and PlayStation's network and more cool stuff. And as always, don't forget to back up your PC. I just backed mine up the other day. I did the Windows backup, by the way, and it's still, I didn't realize it's on Windows 11. It still recommends a Windows 7 backup. I just always want to say this. I never back like my Windows system image up to the cloud. I always make a physical copy of it, like onto an external drive or USB drive, because if I ever have to replace the hard drive, I want that system image to be able to load. And, I've never been able to restore Windows from the cloud. So just a little FYI, I forgot about that. All right. We'll wrap it up for now, but get out there and have some fun. And we'll do this again soon. Thanks for watching.